Yeah, and then I'll put the clip of... Are you guys ready for another Mel video?
Hi, everyone!
This is going to be the middleest Mel video from this session.
Yeah, but it's a different session because I have a different shirt on.
He has a new shirt. I don't. I'm a slob. I wear the same shirt every day. Every single day, apparently.
Because you love the Surfer Jet sandwich.
I do love the Surfer Jets.
Rightly so.
Much, yeah. I think I've got like 4 Surfer Jet shirts now, so I could probably... I need to get it up to 7, so I could have a different one every day.
Every day of the week.
Yeah, every day of the week. Yeah.
I still enjoy your tuner time shirt. That I get some mileage out of that, and I have some tuning forks, and wearing that shirt and, you know, boom, off the side, it's a special moment.
The company that prints those shirts, they just started doing hats. Like embroidered trucker hats.
Wow.
And I need to reformat the design a little bit so it fits better. But I want to do a tuner time embroidered hat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And with like it could be like with dingo balls, or you'd have to do a bolero hat, but the dingo balls would all be tuning forks.
This is going... I don't think Teespring is going to do that for me.
They should.
I don't think they have bolero hats as an option.
There's a business opportunity.
They just started doing trucker hats. I mean, bolero hats might be a few years out. So anyways, Mel has a new model of guitar he's been working on.
Yes.
He unveiled this at the last NAMM, and I think it's amazing. It's a full hollow guitar with his off-Kiltertron pickups. Really unique construction. And it's got his wild double-bridged trim situation going on. This one has... Is that a Wilkinson?
Yeah, that's a Wilkinson bridge.
This one has a Wilkinson. That one has
the standard Mosrighty one.
The Mosrighty one.
To explain, what Ryan is holding is I always do test runs on things to make sure the model's good, and I use less expensive wood. And so there you have a guitar made entirely of Home Depot pine or fir or whatever they use,
and it smells like it, like it's filling the room with that lumberyard scent. And I'm interrupting you.
Yeah, but that scent is a combination of sawdust, epoxy, and Old Spice.
It smells like going to Home Depot with my dad and standing there while he examines every single 2x4 to make sure it's straight. Like, there's a nostalgia to that smell that I'm experiencing.
But I mean, Home Depot actually has some good maple. Like, as crazy as it is, all of the flame maple necks, that was all wood from Home Depot.
Really?
Yes.
On your clamshacks.
Yeah, I bought every flamed, lumber they had. And now, of course, it's gone. So now I don't know what the heck I'm going to do to keep getting more flames. Maybe I'll have to actually get a blowtorch. Won't be the same, though.
I don't think that's why they make flamed maple.
Yeah, that's different. So anyway, to get back to, so this is the test guitar, and based on design of this, I made some updates. You can see the F-holes on this one are more delicate. Also, the body is thicker on this one. And you can kind of, you're probably not obvious to see, but the body the back relative to the fretboard's the same, but this body actually goes further forward, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
If you look in this area, you can see there's a lot less space under the floating bridge.
Yeah, I see. Oh, I do see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So once I built that, and the whole thing is there is only enough wood inside to mount the tremolo, mount the bridge, and the 2 pickups. That's it. And actually, this one has less wood inside it than this one. Because one of the things I wanted to do was have what would happen with the springs being open to the entire acoustic chamber of the guitar.
Right.
On this one, it's only on the back, but on here, it's open back, sides, and more sides.
It's like, I've never built a guitar, let alone, I've done parts guitars. I've never like done a semi-hollow or a full hollow like this. It seems like you're dancing around some really interesting tolerances putting a Strat trim
Yes.
into a full hollow guitar. And like this thing is carved out thin. Like
Yeah.
when he first handed it to me, I was like, it feels like a balsa model airplane, like a rubber band airplane that's made out of balsa. It's so light. Like I even pulled out the fish scale already to see how heavy this thing is. And you said you think it's like around 4.
I think so. I could be wrong, but that's my ear.
There you go. 4.44. You were right. It's 4. 444.
Yeah, this one is about 7, and I think some of that is the higher quality wood, but it's also the hardware.
Yeah.
You know, because those, if you may not have noticed, my off-kiltertrons have a lot of magnet in them.
And also you got 2 pickups in there, and
Yeah.
you've got paint on it.
Yeah,
Oh, I gotta reset this.
by leprechauns, maybe.
There we go. I got it. This always makes people nervous when I hang a whole guitar off of a tuning button. 718, which is still really light.
Yes.
Like it's still a light guitar.
That is normal guitar light.
Right.
This is paperweight. Like if you were playing in a bar, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you, where you're playing and you have to defend yourself with your instrument.
All the time. I'm under constant attack.
I was in this band in college, and our biggest thing we did is every place we played closed within a month. And the thing is, I'm not sure if it meant that we were so terrible that the places closed because of us, or that they were already on their way out and were so desperate that they were willing to hire us.
I think that was probably it. Or like, yeah, like, you know, when a venue's being run by the people who just happen to be left behind because they're too crazy to quit.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So it's being run by whoever is still sticking it out at this place that isn't cutting checks for them anymore. So they'll just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have this crazy band play.
And then, we one place we were playing, and it was in Providence. There's a strong Italian community with some macho elements to it. I remember seeing these 2 guys playing pool. I see one guy take the pool cue, swing it back, and clock the other guy over the head with it. And then a whole big fight broke out.
Yeah, it's like a movie.
Yeah, and then there was one we were, some guy charged me on stage, and I had to sort of back him off with the guitar. I mean, I knew I played badly, but not that badly. And then there was a huge fight in the street. The bar I was playing in was like a rock and roll dive, and then there was a place further down the street that was like ska and reggae, which is pretty calm music. And yet, both clubs emptied out into the street and started fighting. The police station was like half a mile down the street. All of this is going on. I see, because we're playing in the windows behind us, and we start seeing people going.
So you got a ska reggae group, and then what was the other group? Macho Italians?
And rock and roll, yeah, kind of.
Rock and roll macho Italians versus the ska reggae club.
But the craziest part of this was, I'm watching, and all this fight's going on, and then I see one guy kind of run off. And I'm thinking, where's he running off to? He comes back with a shovel, and he starts walloping people with the shovel. I'm like, this is America.
That's you're like, if Norman Rockwell was still alive, that's what he would be painting.
You know what it would be? No, because it would be after the fight, guys with black eyes, missing teeth, and they're all drinking together.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, it wasn't like it was a drunk fight. It wasn't like,
rude boys and good old boys.
Exactly. But not, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was like, people go out to fight.
Right.
I mean,
I don't. I've never been in an actual fight in my life. I've never had to. I've never needed to throw a punch in my entire life.
But you have a brother.
Yeah. I mean, roughhouse, but we don't like duke it out.
I stabbed my brother. It was an accident.
Okay. Well,
he was older. He was always beating me up, and then I had a screwdriver. I'm like, I'm going to get you, and I went like this.
That doesn't sound like an accident.
And then he threw up his hand to block it, and then that's how it went into his hand.
A friend of mine We were playing darts in the garage, and my brother ran forward to pull the dart out of the dartboard, and my friend thought he could do a trick shot past my brother.
Oh.
And he landed a dart in my brother's shoulder blade.
Oh.
And it stuck there for a moment.
Oh.
I don't know if my brother remembers that. He was little. He was like...
Well, hopefully he remembers it and you're like, you got to behave. I got some darts.
Yeah, I got darts. Well, he's got a dartboard now.
Oh, well, see, he's going to done, you know. To be fair, my brother stabbed me with a pencil earlier. So
earlier today?
No. that would be pretty awesome. Hey, would you try out here and just siblings, don't worry, it's all fine.
Yeah.
We were talking about guitars.
Were we?
Yes. So this is so exciting. So yes, this is the Beatnik Baron Model 2. I don't know if you can kind of get that there's a 2 on there, but that's just because why not? I mean, an air of mystery.
Yeah. Where's the first one? We're not going to tell you. Here's the second one.
Do you know
Yeah.
Lake Havasu, if they were to drain it in concrete?
And then you'd find the first one. Yeah.
So,
we don't talk about the first one.
We don't talk about the first one. So,
it's dead to us.
It's dead to everyone. So the thing is, it's hollow all the way around and through here. There's just enough wood to mount the pickups and actually room for a third off-kiltertron. And then the goal, as I said, was to have it as open as possible so that the springs are interacting with the rest of it. Wiring-wise, it's got the deluxe wiring, only it looks a lot less complicated. We have volume, treble, bass, neck rotary, bridge rotary. This is the little single-double controller. So if you have this switch forward, both off-kiltertrons are controlled by this switch. If you put it back, they're independent. And that is simply because some people like having 2 rotaries. I like having 1. And so this way it could all be in the single guitar.
Right.
But you can also do cool things like using it to have, you're set in jangle and you set that one higher and then you can automatically go between them. The other thing that it has is pop-up for phase.
Oh.
And pop-up for series parallel.
So yeah, it does have a lot.
Yeah, it pops when you cook them. And
All right.
So anyhow, it's got the deluxe wiring just laid out in I guess it's simpler. It looks
simpler, but it's still
it's all there.
There's a ton going on.
Yeah, and the nice thing is you don't have to use it all. It's there.
Right.
But it's like all that stuff is cut out of the circuit when it's not being used, so it doesn't drain, or pull any of the stuff down. Also, some people had been asking. I use 500K pots for the volume and the tone and things, just because it does have humbucking modes, and so that way it gives a little bit more air. If I were to air one way or the other, I would go with 1 meg, just because I'm that way. 250 is fine, but it does cut some of the je ne sais quoi, I don't know, out of the pickup.
Mm-hmm. I'm one of those guys that I'm not afraid of bright. I'm fine going single coil straight to output. I don't need pots in between. Like when I put your pickup in the Jazzmaster, I was like, I don't need a tone control anymore.
No.
I only use the volume knob as an on-off. Like that could be a switch.
Now, yeah. Do you know Mosrite, when Semi Mosley in the mid '80s started making a variation on the Mark I that had a thick German carve all the way around, 3 pickups, 3 switches, and a single knob. And he didn't put a tone switch. He was like, I've been told my guitars have no tone, so why put it on there? And actually, another Mosrite related thing, you've got the Dumble back here, the Dumble clone. Did you know that Dumble made prototype amps for Mosrite?
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
There were 11 of them. There are photographs of
crystal lettuces and all.
the whole
thing.
crystal blue persuasion, the whole thing. Anyway, they for whatever reason it didn't work out. There's next to no information about them except there are pictures of the Ventures with them behind them.
Interesting.
And he was a very, very secretive guy. So, who knows?
Dumble was.
Dumble.
Yeah. Shh. We don't talk about him.
Don't even talk about
Don't talk about him.
So anyhow, yes, now we can get back to this. I like these guitars. I'll tell you. Now let me tell you about this one.
I'm curious to plug them in because the full hollow thing is interesting to me. I don't think I've ever owned a full hollow guitar. I imagine they're going to be feedback machines for any sort of gain. Hopefully, I like that answer.
So it's got, and this is a lace sensor, Alumitone, and the other things you will notice about this that are not a part of this has no frets.
Yeah.
And this has no truss rod. Because I didn't want to bother wasting a truss rod.
It was a proof of concept.
Yes.
Like you're trying to see if the parts go together.
And the strange thing is, it wound up being quite enjoyable to play.
That's what I want to say about. I want to wax poetic about this guitar real quick. I've only played it unplugged in the kitchen for like 10 minutes or something like that. It's a charmer. Like there's something really charming about this. It is rough. It'll give you splinters. Like every part of it feels like raw wood.
Show them the back. I accidentally cut through there.
Yeah.
The neck isn't glued in. I just have two big like outdoor bolts.
Yeah, there's wood screws right there, just holding the neck on. Those they're like fence screws.
Yeah, and then it like I accidentally cut through the CNC went a little too far and cut a divot out of the heel.
But there's something really, and it doesn't have any frets. But there's something really charming about it, and that must have been exciting to put together this really rough proof of concept and be like, well, you know what? It actually, like there's something fun about this.
I was worried that this would all crumple, and
totally.
Somehow it didn't. It doesn't. And
well, I'm sure with aggressive enough playing, like there's parts of this that would suffer.
Is that a challenge?
I mean, you want to test it?
I mean, it doesn't really have a purpose beyond what I've already used it for.
Right.
I just, I thought that you might get a kick out of this.
Oh, I totally get a kick out of it.
And that you might get a kick out of it too.
Here's what I want to know. Because I haven't had a lot of experience, any experience really with full hollow electric guitars. Well, I had that Grote that was like an Epiphone Century.
Oh, okay.
Like a jazz guitar with a single P90 in the neck. That was full hollow. Mm-hmm. Who do you imagine is the end user, the type of player, the type of band, this sort of
this?
Yeah.
Segovia.
Though
he's dead, so I don't think he would play it.
Yeah. But like your Clam Shack is squarely like a surf appropriate guitar. Anyone could use them.
Yes.
Really. Like anyone can. But it's very much in that direction. Like, is this meant to be like kind of jazzy, kind of like?
You can obviously use it for anything. You can look at the paint scheme and see I was kind of going for like a 50s.
Sure.
Kind of a rockabilly thing.
Stuff.
But you can also play anything you want. The other thing is, I'm a fan of the British Invasion. Do you know who Jerry Marsden was? It was the leader of Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Yeah.
And he would play his guitar.
You think he ever got a pacemaker?
I hope so.
Because that name is like,
they're
like, oh, we're keeping the pace. We're making the pace here. But then you get older and then like, the pacemakers probably didn't exist.
Yeah, no, you're right.
When they came up with that name.
But so the thing is, it really is comfortable to get tucked in as well as playing it low. Because I like to play my guitar up high. Mm-hmm. And, that was important for me to be comfortable. The other thing was that by having a dual German carve as well as the rollover, it gives it the feeling of a much narrower guitar. It's actually 2 1/8 thick, but the edge is about 1 inch. This one's about 2 because I raised the front on this one. And I think that says volumes.
So like, I'm imagining kind of like,
but I mean,
a folky psychedelia sort of.
But there are like guys who play heavy metal with hollow bodies and stuff, like Nugent.
Sure.
I mean, I just put an American flag on this and make it a bow and arrow. And I mean, so I saw Ted Nugent play opening for Kiss.
Well, this would be great for, he's got that one song that starts with like 4 minutes of feedback.
Yeah. He goes,
Yeah.
well, I mean, but you know, he plays those Birdlands are completely hollow.
Yeah.
So this has some wood. So, I mean, it's not exactly completely hollow, but it's as little as possible. I mean, maybe it's got as much wood as, say, like a trestle-braced Gretsch.
Gotcha.
Does that mean anything to you?
No.
Good. Trestle-braced Gretsch.
Look it up.
Yeah, so those when Gretsch was trying to get rid of feedback, one of the things they did in the late 50s was build a trestle. It literally looked like a trestle, but it had a flat top, and it would connect the front and the back.
Huh.
And so that they were more tightly coupled and it wouldn't feed back as much. And you see that in the 6120s, unless later when they went to the Electrotone body, which had no F-holes in it, it was a solid top. They stopped with the trestle bracing.
Gotcha.
But that's
so it would be like, I'm imagining like crisscrosses of wood going through.
There are two
from the top to the back.
There are two in a row, and that's why I've got 3 fingers up. And it's flat on the top, and there's like a foot here and a foot here, if you can imagine. So it's like a bridge trestle.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Now this doesn't have that, but Gretsch's do. But so that's kind of the realm of where it is. So I mean, technically it's a semi-hollow, but it wants to be hollow, and it identifies as one. So you know, I mean,
we're gonna honor its wishes and you know, identify it as a hollow.
But I think that you should get the experience of playing this. I will. Well, you know, I always play myself in my videos, and I don't know much to play, so it's probably a novel thing to have you there doing this. And I will also point out that, as I mentioned, there's room for a. What are you looking at them for? What do you know? What do you know that I don't know?
I wasn't looking at them, I was just checking the camera.
Oh, okay.
I'm making sure that you don't wander off screen and making sure the guitar's in the shot.
I don't know if you were trying to like break the fourth wall or something. But
there's no wall here. It's an open gate.
Oh man. So I was saying something and I'm sure it was important, but I don't recall what it was. And
well, you're the one. You interrupted yourself that time. I didn't interrupt you.
Do you know how hard it is being in my head?
Oh, yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to do the sprinkler again. Now I'm going to do the oh, and then you can do the rowing, right?
How do we go the right direction here? Obviously, we're using the 2 Princetons, Rick.
Yes.
Because that's what we do around here. I did a little cable change. All right, let's listen to this thing.
Yes. So now you're in middle position. And that's the jangle, so that's its thin, sensitive setting.
Thin and sensitive.
Doesn't he look? He's thin and sensitive. Me,
sensitive.
There's got to be like a schlub setting in there somewhere.
Yeah, that would have been a good way to describe 19-year-old Ryan.
That never would have been for me. I was always that kid that got picked for the basketball team last, but I leaned into it.
Everyone always wanted me to play basketball because I'm tall.
Yeah. Devoid of basketball skills.
I am completely devoid of any desire to play any sport whatsoever. Like, guys, I don't know how to play basketball because I've never even watched basketball. I don't know the rules. You do not want me on your team. But no, you're tall. You need to be on my team. It'll be a waste of time for all of us. So no thank you.
Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court, and it went from there. I don't know. The things that stick in your head, like I heard that probably in 1982 or 3. And it still stick in my head. There could be more valuable information up here, but no. Basketball is my favorite. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Let's see if we can play any guitar in this guitar video. I'm going to play a little bit.
Yes.
And then I'll invite you to start futzing with it.
Okay.
While I play. Bridge pickup. There's There's your twangy, spaghetti,
Yeah.
westerny sort of stuff.
Not the kind of sounds you expect coming off of a hollow body. Ooh.
No, not at all, because you expect dark and jazzy
off
a hollow body. But that's the sort of sound that I love. I chase that sort of twangy, thin, brittle, nasty sort of thing. There's the neck pickup. Which again is only one setting across 6 different settings for these pickups.
Yeah, right now this is the lowest output of the settings. They're both in jangle. You ready to?
I always consider that to be like a Dan Electro setting.
Yeah, I think of it as like it's a Dan Electro, Hylotron, or Rickenbacker, like the vintage low output wines. You know, I would have to get the full Rickenbacker. I'd need to have 12 strings, and I have thought about that, but
don't get me started on Rickenbackers.
you know, I didn't bring, but I have a 360 that I put a 360 12 V64, and I put an accent vibrato on it. I love it. You just need a little bit of warble on a 12 string, and you just become like so sensitive. So sensitive. You know, it's like I do the chord and I strum. My wife could be out shopping. She'll run home and be like, I heard that.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, exactly. There's sensitive stuff going on. So all right.
Let's go through.
Yeah, so now
Let's find like a...
that's
the
Crush.
full-blown humbucker setting there now.
Yes. So that's if you wanted to get like Bernie blues stuff. So
Did I blues it?
that's bluesy. Now another thing I want to point out though is when they're in the same setting, like if you put them both to jangle back just for a second, strum the neck. They're pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
This pickup is about 30% the output is 30% less output than the bridge. That's not supposed to work.
Right.
It's something I haven't figured out, but that
It's something you did, but you haven't figured it out yet.
Yes, I'm so genius. I don't even know how genius I am. But I think that's part of what gives the neck pickup air, like its breath.
Let's go through. So we've been on
That's jangle.
the hyper twang on the bridge, and we'll do that a Filtertron's humbucker setting now.
Sure.
Then there is the PAF setting. You have all your names memorized for it. I file it away in my head as like what it's trying to sound like. So I don't remember the tangle, the wrangle, the jangle, the mangle, all of that.
It's so obvious though.
I remember all the names for it, but I don't remember which ones those are.
You have to think about it in 2 sets of 3.
I do.
If you look back, actually, did you ever have to do in school the 5-paragraph essay?
Yeah.
So you start with an essay, and it's the first is an introduction, then there are 3 paragraphs which make your point, and then an output. And in each of those 3 paragraphs, there's supposed to be 3 sentences that go there. This goes back to Cicero, the Roman orator. So it's easy. It's easiest for us to remember 3 is basically what it comes down to. So jangle, twangle, wrangle, tangle, mangle, crush. Duh.
Everyone can remember that.
To be fair, I still have trouble with the names for the bass version, because that was like clanky, spanky, cranky, funky, punky. Oh, and then Punky Brewster. So yeah, but I still don't remember all those. But here we are. Yes.
I want to see how stuff combines. I want to do the humbucker on the bridge and the twangle?
Yes, that'll be the second one from the bottom.
Jangle is the first one.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do the crush and jangle together and see what happens. And we'll do...
Well, that's because you're...
Oh! There it is!
I was going to be impressed.
Because there's a lot of combinations there.
Yeah. I mean, because it's interesting, there's some guitars that have individual volumes for each, and that lets you do some things, but this is in its own realm because
Totally
you're like,
different
I
beats.
want to put like a humbucker with a fat single coil or what have you.
So now we're combining humbucker. That's a very nice sound. That's like jazzy.
You got to get into those major sevenths. More like your major sevenths. And
Like, that's the only like jazzy thing I know how to do, and I lean into it.
yeah, I learned the very beginning of Girl from Ipanema just because that seems to be the necessary thing to be able to claim jazzosity.
I've demoed a couple like full hollows and semi hollows when I'm at NAMM, just like guerrilla style shooting.
Sure.
Like, oh, I'm gonna try this big arch top, Ibanez jazz box here. And I get comments all the time from jazz guitarists like, you should have learned some jazz before you filmed this. Like, sorry, I'm not learning anything.
Yeah.
I am who I am. Sorry,
Wait a
guys.
second. I thought okay, I'm playing jazz, right?
Yeah. So, what I want to say is like, guitars sound like they're pickups for the most part.
Yes.
And going through the pickup settings here, you're learning about the pickups. You're learning about what this guitar sounds like with those pickups.
Yes.
But what we're not communicating is like, there's a real pleasure factor to this model.
Yes.
It just feels really nice.
Comfy.
It's very comfy. That's a good word for it.
I was going to call it
like
the Comfy Baron, but it didn't have the ring.
Like I when I picked it up at NAMM, I was like, oh, let's check this thing out. This thing's going to be weird. And it like immediately like bonded to my body.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this just feels like I've always played it. And just the addition of your wacky wiggle stick here situation.
Well, I mean, it just gives you, jazz, you should be able to dive bomb jazzy guitars.
Like, that's too much fun.
And actually, I'll tell you something else interesting. The string ground is through the tremolo, and you can see how I did that on this one here. You can see the green wire.
I want to
Maybe
plug
you
that
can't.
thing in now.
Yeah, this is sinister. What I found though was that when you really get dive bomby, it was sometimes it would lose the ground connection. So I ground the bridge, not the bridge. When I ground the bridge, but not the bridge.
Because it would separate when you went too extreme.
Yeah. So that way it and these are little things you don't think of, but then you run across them, and maybe some people think about that all the time.
So we got no pots here, no
pots.
volume, no tone, no switches. We just have the Alumatone, which I haven't had a lot of experience with these pickups. What do you think about Alumatones?
It's a very, I would say, hi-fi pickup. I kind of like it because you can color it however you want.
Gotcha.
And I was at the time looking for my collapsible guitar as thin a pickup as possible, and there's a lot of, you can kind of fit that in around things and have it be shallow because it's like hollow underneath. It's a different methodology of, instead of having a magnet with a hell of a lot of coils, it's very little coil, very little magnet, but then I believe there's a transformer in there. And it's more
So it's more than meets the eye. All right.
Yes! You beat me to it.
I did.
I'm so glad.
I felt it coming. I was like, I'm going to get to it first.
Because, that's one of those things the kids these days, when they always show Transformers, so they're more than meets the eye, and they go,
right. Kids these days, when they hear about Transformers, they're thinking Michael Bay and Megan Fox. They're not thinking about
which aren't bad things.
No, totally.
But
they missed the initial cultural impact.
Transformers, more than meets the eye. In disguise.
In disguise.
Yes. and this is the guitar they would play.
So we've got no pots here. We got no switch. We got no frets. We got no paint.
No truss rod.
No truss rod. We're willy-nilly here.
I think this is going to sound mean with your pedals.
Ooh, like right off the bat, like that.
Delta.
Yeah, sounds like the start to like a Delta Blues
Yeah.
movie. Like.
Now that feels like it's a lonesome night at the campfire and I'm going to start hearing coyotes.
I want to do drones against like sliding.
So the interesting thing is, when you're playing a guitar with no frets, you have to put your fingers on the fret marks because that's where there's secret stuff going on. I'm just going to explain things. You have to put your finger on the fret line to be able to essentially be playing a fret, but you can go all over the place with it.
And because, you know, obviously if you have a fretless guitar, you also have to have a very wide-ranged, wacky wiggle stick here.
Duh.
So let's see if I can play a chord.
Another thing that this would be kind of fun for would be one of those things where you tune it to an open chord.
Yeah.
And then just make a total mess of it.
It's hard to hold the sustain, just like, because your flesh kills the sustain, like holding down the string against the fretboard.
And I will also point out, so the fretboard is walnut from Home Depot also.
The whole thing just feels like splinters. Like it's just all raw wood.
But, I mean...
It's very Pinewood Derby.
Yes. There were even, I think that the glue spilling out around the neck and the fretboard really captures, it brings out a tone in the instrument that I don't think normally people recognize.
Well, there's a tactile element to all these like rough glue edges.
And gaps in the glue.
And gaps and like the raw wood feel of the sides of it, and you think like, oh, this is going to be a really uninteresting, like difficult thing to play, but playing it in their kitchen earlier, just picking it up, is like, oh, I'm already having fun, and this is just like the rawest construction ever imaginable.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when I built this, I would be like, okay, I approved all the parts, and then I'm going to take all the hardware off it and use it on an actual guitar for production. But I'm like, this sounds so cool.
Like that sound is coming from the string rubbing against the raw wood. So far, no feedback.
You would think,
but you really have to figure out a fretless guitar to do anything useful with it.
I think you know, you show up and teach those fretless bass players a thing or two about a thing or two.
Well, here's the problem. It's not in tune, Mel.
You say tune like it's tuner time.
It's tuner time.
Does tuner time have a song?
The song is the sound of me tuning.
Oh, okay.
I usually like do it in time lapse, but not this time.
No. We're just going to sit here.
Sharp? What are we doing here?
It's jazz. It's so cute that you tune it like it makes a difference on this.
I know.
I also will point out the nut that I had wasn't tall enough, so I had to jam. I think that's plastic underneath there. I don't recall what I put in there.
That's amazing.
You know, because you work with what you have and trying to...
You were fudging together a proof of concept to see if all the pieces would fit together.
Yes.
And you ended up with something that's got a really interesting charm to it. And I can hear myself talking through it into the amp. All right, let's see if I can do a chord.
Okay.
Now that I've tuned it. I'm going to try it for a bar A major.
Okay.
Visually, what do you think so far?
I think an A7 is going to be easier because because that way you're not trying to get two on the same.
Not too bad.
But this would also be, you know, a punk as all get out.
Yeah.
You just...
It's not too bad. I'm gonna pull off some of that reverb.
Oh, and put a bunch of gain on it. So, you know, everyone out there should try a guitar with no frets and no truss rod. You can get something cheap on, I'm sure, on Craigslist and just pull the frets and then call yourself a luthier.
I went a little sharp there. It has like a like a Japanese instrument sort of sound to it.
Because I think it's a bit choked. You're right, it does. What is it? Is it like a Chinese instrument, like an erhu or something like that?
Something
like
that.
The violin thing?
Yeah.
But does when you're playing it, are you thinking more teriyaki or Peking duck? Because I think it covers both. Because like I said, to me, I'm hearing more of the Chinese.
You're right.
violin.
I'm hearing Peking duck. You're right.
Does anyone else?
I'm not hearing teriyaki.
No. Teriyaki is pretty awesome. I think
because when I hear teriyaki in my head, I'm hearing like drums, like the wood drums.
Yes. The taiko.
Yeah, I forget what they're called, but yeah, the like I can't even do the sound with it with my mouth.
It's an awesome sound.
It is.
You can all hear it in your head. Trust me. That first bit you played almost sounded like the beginning of Boys of Summer. Da da. Do 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 do. There you go. So yeah, I mean it winds up being an interesting thing, and of course, obviously you can play slide on it, but why?
No, why would you want to play slide when you could play just fretless?
Yeah.
So what are your long-term plans for this? Since this was a prototype, like, and now you have to have it in storage forever. Are you going to keep it forever? Are you going to like try to finish it someday? Or?
It's finished.
It's finished. It's done.
You know, if someone out, any of you people, you know, if you really want this, we'll make it happen.
I mean, it's got fret dots drilled,
drilled. They're not filled.
Drilled, not filled.
I didn't even radius the board. You can still see the marks for the machining marks of the the ball nose. So the radius I cut with a ball nose bit. So that way the roundness when it covers it makes it easier to sand down the finishing process of what comes off the CNC machine. Because people think, oh, CNC machine, it comes off, it's perfect. Yeah! Oh no, that shouldn't have been stopped.
I want to do a reverse delay.
Oh, okay. But so there's a lot of finish work involved. You use the CNC to get yourself close.
Yeah.
And then you dial in.
I think some people think when they hear CNC, it's like, oh, you threw a bunch of lumber into a machine and a guitar fell out.
Yeah.
And I've seen what people are doing with CNC, and it's not that. It starts off with like layers of stuff where you need to go in and do the hand finishing.
Well, so for instance, I mean, here you can see I didn't finish the. You can see the layers coming off of the machine.
Yeah.
Here it's a little closer, but even there, it accidentally did a quasi-German carve in there. Where so these are the kind of things where I'm like, okay, when the machining errors happen, I know I can fix them. Another thing is you'll notice that this one's set up to be double bound, but the production one I did a round over on the back.
Okay, so now I've got like a Noble style overdrive from the Wampler Bell, and I've got a reverse delay going from my A-Labs delay.
Obviously.
Let's see what happens.
Oh my God!
Yes! That slide bouncing back in reverse.
Oh my God,
that's fun.
I feel like I should be playing tabla drums, where you're doing the boom, 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 boom.
Like this is a soundtrack tool.
Yeah,
Like
I
for
can
making
see
like a
that.
horror movie or some sort of like weird experimental source of sounds. But you gotta wear long sleeves because you're gonna get splinters.
Look, if someone wants to buy it, I will sand it on request.
No, you sell it as a kit and it comes with a sandpaper.
Do you know the song Pictures of Matchstick Men?
Yeah.
That's got...
Okay. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
There it is. Oh, man. I also want to point out, I believe at this point you can check, but I think we spent more time playing with this
Yeah.
than the actual Baron. Which is a great, obviously, I mean, it's a great guitar, but there's not going to be another one.
But I just come back to thinking about like if I had put together something like this and had it immediately just be like, oh well, that actually feels really fun. Like I'd be so excited to move towards this, you know,
Yeah.
which is like I said when I played it at NAMM is immediate bond, immediate like, oh, I like this, I dig this, like I'm connecting with this. I like the weight, I like the feel.
It's
I like the
a very
dimensions.
empathetic guitar.
It's very empathetic.
It feels you.
Yeah, you know,
feels your pain.
empathetic frequencies, you know. But I think it's a really cool concept.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for bringing him over.
Oh, yeah,
You
of
hold
course.
that one up. So this is the only like finished existing production
Currently,
right now.
this is the only one. They're going to be $3,000 because it takes more work to build these, obviously, than the clam shacks.
Well, the clam shacks, those are in the twos, right?
25.
25. Okay.
And that's deluxe. The deluxe wiring is another $150. So to go through all this, clam shacks 25. The Deep Six starts at 27.
Yeah.
And this is at 3. This one comes with the deluxe wiring. The others you would have to add it in.
Do you have any finishing ideas for the production models? Like any color combinations? So this is stunning.
Yeah. So it's
I love the
it's
purple.
You know, I
Haven't gotten there yet.
Do you know that they recently stopped making fruit stripe gum?
With the zebra? Why?
Because I'm going to steal those colors and put them
Oh,
on
okay.
here. No, they did. They actually stopped making it, which is a
Well,
tragedy.
I could totally see doing like a psychedelic swirl
Yeah.
on it. Like
Mhm.
I forget who's in that picture, but there's some picture of an actress in the '60s holding a Vox that's been like.
It's Elizabeth Montgomery, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, from who's the one? Not I Dream of Jeannie. The Bewitched.
Bewitched. That's right. Yeah.
Huh.
But I could see that sort of like a swirly psychedelia sort of thing.
And you know, I mean, that's been actually part of the fun across the board is coming up with the color combinations.
Yeah.
Because you know, I mean, they're built. You can't sell something you don't have, so I needed to build some guitars to be able to show. And I figure while I'm doing that, I'll have fun and get in touch with my inner artiste. So I actually was initially going to do this lilac with a black back, but my friend Tim suggested that why don't we try doing metallic purple? It can always be sprayed over if it's, and I just was that's stunning.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah,
What would you paint it?
the black contrast would look cool, but it would look factory standard.
Yeah.
You know, like you see that in a lot of styles of guitars. It's like the black back, black neck, and then a colored top.
Yeah.
Like having the two-tone like is really stunning.
So what would you for yours? what would the color be? And would it have like a big hum badge on it or something?
No, I wouldn't want a logo on it or anything like that. I want a full inlay.
Yes.
My not just my name, but my social security number.
Perfect.
And my mother's maiden name.
Well, that should be on the, to be fair, that's more for the Deep Six.
Exactly.
You need the length for the whole
because
thing.
you have the extra length, yeah.
But yeah, it's
I like metallics, but like the metallic on the side is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe...
I mean, because another thing would be like champagne sparkle and then something like a copper on the sides and back.
What if it was... Oh man, I'm having trouble. I'm like, all these ideas are flashing through my head. I want to have some sort of green metallic, and I can't decide if I want that on the top, would want that on the top or the sides.
Mm-hmm. It could, well, you could go like the old ding dong bells.
The doorbell just rung because an Epiphone just got delivered.
Which is pretty exciting.
Yeah,
you know, you probably want to go check. We'll
I'll check in a minute. I'll check in a minute.
The Microfrets had this like yellow to green sunburst
Yeah.
and then metallic around the sides.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I'm having a tough time because like...
I mean, another thing was...
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Pitch color combos in the comments section. Like,
Yes.
what would be the most exciting to you as a color combo
And with
on
the-
like this? Let's see. You see how it's metallic purple on the back and sides, and then the flat kind of lilac
Yeah.
on the top.
Very good that you noticed it was lilac because someone was saying, oh, it's lavender. And, oh, no.
Are you kidding?
Lilac.
Someone thought that was lavender?
It's a shanda. It's a shame. I mean, you would think that they're colorblind.
They're such different shades of the same color.
It's not fuchsia.
Right. Are you fuchsia? I'd actually throw punches over that.
Okay, well, you see, that's fair.
Yeah. No, I'd want to go into like the green, blue, yellow spectrum, but I haven't figured out.
Well,
quite.
there are a lot of those the Gretches that
Maybe
have
like-
the two tones like that.
It would be double metallic, but like gold metallic top, green metallic side and back. You know, something like that.
That would be cool. Or you could go with the whole thing like copper fades, turns green. So if you did a
Right.
copper front and then the back, it would almost be like, what do they call that? The fake Victorian stuff? Steampunk.
Yeah. Totally.
But they never go steampunk like and get in with like, I'm going to be vintage and I'm going to have typhus. You know, or like...
Commit to the bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see blood on the handkerchief.
Exactly.
Don't do steampunk unless you
You gotta
get the consumption.
commit. Yeah, the gout, the croup.
Right.
Back when diseases had a proper pronoun, a preposition.
Yeah.
It wasn't just I have
The plague,
exactly.
the Black Death.
You have to earn that.
Yeah, I don't
You
want
just,
to.
it's not like, oh, I have the cold. No, you have.
I don't want to see a single steampunk person who hasn't lost 2 wives and 8 children to childbirth. You know, like it's
exactly.
just, you know,
and early childhood deaths and syphilis and stuff. You remember reading books and be like, don't
If
go
you're-
outside, you'll catch your death of cold. And you're like, oh, that doesn't happen. Well, it did.
if your surviving children aren't missing fingers from factory work, I am not buying your steampunk act. So anyways, thanks for watching.
Great to see everyone.
There's going to be one more Mel video from this session.
But I'm going to have a different shirt on.
He'll have a different shirt on. I'll have the same shirt on. I'm not going to make my wife wash 3 different shirts from this day.
Wait, you think I'm going to wash these? I got
All right.
this is like Mel Patina.
Bye, everybody. Stay grounded.